the headline drops, Intel is going to part ways with its CEO, Pat Gelsinger. Initially, Dan, you saw it. I mean, the stock actually popped on that news. Today, though, we reversed different story. We're down about 6%. Reality, is it setting in here, Dan, about the challenges ahead for this company, regardless of who's in the C-suite?
Yeah, I think there's two things. There's a lot of people liked Pat as the guy to kind of turn everything around. They didn't necessarily like the third-party foundry, the manufacturing foundry for other companies, for its rivals. They didn't like the idea that Intel wanted to be a US-based kind of TSMC. And so they liked Pat, didn't like his idea to do that. I think on the whole, they would have wanted to keep him and ditch that idea. Now, though, if they do go ahead and ditch that, or they go ahead and kind of shuffle off the entire foundry, separate that from the design side, what does that mean for the CHIPS Act funding that they just got, that $7 billion plus that's earmarked for them as they hit different milestones? And so, I was talking to some folks about this throughout the day yesterday and today, and essentially what they say is, look, if Intel wants to keep that money, it's going to be tough. There are certain provisions in there that prevent Intel from giving up control of the foundry business. It would be virtually impossible to do that and keep the CHIPS Act money unless there's some kind of renegotiations. I think generally the thinking is most people want Intel to continue to manufacture on its own products, but again, ditch that kind of third-party manufacturing idea. And it's not that it's gotten off to a good start. Its biggest customer is still Intel. It has some wins. Microsoft and Amazon saying that they're going to go with Intel and use its 18A node for chips that they would then use. But that's not, the NVIDIAs, the Qualcomms of the world that TSMC has. So they would need to really build up scale. And so, if they end up ditching that idea, still having their own manufacturing, though, they would end up probably having to cut back on some of the plans they have for building out different manufacturing hubs along with that third-party idea. So that would mean, eating some of the money that they've already put in and then potentially not getting as much of that CHIPS Act funding overall. Now, what does that mean for the Commerce Department and their plans that they had for Intel? We're just going to have to see with the incoming administration.